In the adrenaline-pumping world of motocross, Marty Smith was more than just a racer. He was a legend who redefined the sport. With multiple AMA championships under his belt and rock star status, he was like a fire on two wheels. Yet, on an ordinary day, while he was enjoying his retirement, something unexpected happened. In a blink of an eye, the sandy cliffs which once embraced his childhood would become the scene of the tragic event. Join us as we cover the remarkable journey of Marty Smith and try to uncover the details behind his tragic end. Martin Richard Smith was born on November 26, 1956, in San Diego, California. From a very young age, at just 6 years old, Marty started riding with his father on a small step-through Honda 50 motorcycle. And since he was too small to touch the ground while seated, he had to learn riding while standing on pegs. This early exposure, or one would say passion, helped him hone his skills and balancing techniques, which would later help him to become an exceptional rider. Marty once shared in his interview that by the time he had turned 13, he had already transitioned to bigger motorcycles, where he often used to practice on local hills with his father. And during one such riding session, Marty came across the organized races for the first time. The roar of the engines and speed gripped him, and he immediately decided that this is what he really wanted to do. And just a year later, in 1971, he made his debut in novice class at Carlsbad, where he was riding Yamaha AT1 125cc enduro motorcycle. Interestingly, although he was against competitors who were much older and experienced than him, his talents quickly showed through, where he managed to secure a 5th place. Then, at the age of 16, Marty was already taking part in expert class, using his Swedish Monarch motorcycle. His performance throughout the year was exceptional, where, a few days before his 17th birthday, he managed to secure 6th annual Hangtown Motocross 125cc championship. And because of this remarkable achievement, he quickly became a fan favorite and landed a contract with Honda for $35,000, which marked his debut in professional events. He took part in the inaugural AMA 125cc National Motocross Championship in 1974, where he dominated the races and clinched the championship in his rookie year. That said, balancing career and education turned out to be quite a challenge for him. According to some reports, Marty used to fly to races on Fridays and return on Mondays in time to attend school. And even though having such a busy schedule, he maintained a B+ average grade throughout the year. Shortly thereafter, Marty's career took a dynamic turn when he featured on many magazine covers and documentaries. Marty's talent as well as his handling of the motorcycle was exceptional, and wherever he went, he dazzled the audience, where some even started calling him rock star because of his looks. Not stopping there, in 1975 he secured another 125cc championship, and also triumphed in 125cc US Grand Prix, where he ended up securing the first of 3 Trans-AMA victories. And his dominance continued in 1977, where he clinched the AMA 500cc National Championship after going head-to-head with a remarkable rider, Bob Hanna, aka the Hurricane. And this, especially, was a big moment for his Honda team, as it was their first title in the class. By the year 1980, Marty's fierce racing style had earned him a total of 18 AMA victories in 125cc, 250cc, 500cc, and Trans-AMA events. But despite his fierce nature on the bike, he was a polite, focused, and approachable figure off track. In fact, some even said that he always avoided letting media and fan attention distract him and stayed focused on improving his skills. In 1981, when he turned 25, Marty announced his retirement, citing the physical and mental toll of racing. But even after his retirement, his burning passion for riding stayed intact, where he established the Marty Smith Motocross Clinic for teaching safe and controlled riding for newcomers. And over the years, he reportedly remained active in motocross, where he attended many events and took part in interviews. Plus, in 1991, approximately a decade after his retirement, Marty achieved yet another significant milestone when he co-won the Baja 1000 as a part of 3-man Kawasaki team. A few years later, in 2000, considering all of his achievement and overall involvement in motorsport, Marty was finally inducted into AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame, which cemented his image as one of the most fierce racers of the 1970s. In recent years, While quietly living with family in California, he started taking interest in dune buggies during family outings. And during one such social gathering in 2020, something unexpected happened. On April 27, 2020, Marty was at Imperial Sand Dunes in Southern California, which is more commonly called Algodones Dune. Known for challenging terrain and big sandhills, it was a famous place for dune buggy enthusiasts, ATV riders, as well as camping. According to the eyewitnesses, Marty was accompanied by his wife, Nancy Smith, their close friend Lee Ramage, and his wife, Tammy Ramage. It was supposed to be a social gathering with his friends, who shared the same love for motorsport. Some sources even stated that it was an impromptu outing or loosely planned day trip, where Marty had planned to drive his custom-made dune buggy in the challenging desert hills. Many believe this trip was a way for him to reminisce about his childhood, during which he started racing in the California desert. That said, at around 1 p.m. local time, something completely unexpected happened. According to Lee, Marty was casually driving the vehicle, where Lee was seated next to him, and their wives were seated at the back. The group then shared multiple pictures on their social media about their adventure, and after what seemed like an hour driving the buggy through sandy terrain, Marty attempted to climb on a sandy slope. However, as he tried to navigate to the slope, something went terribly wrong, which caused their buggy to lose its stability. During that split second, Marty tried to control the vehicle, but it completely lost the balance and rolled multiple times. And because of the momentum, Marty was immediately thrown out from the buggy, where he sustained major injuries on head and possibly neck. Nancy, his wife, who was seated at the back, also sustained multiple injuries on her head while the buggy was rolling down, where she initially seemed unconscious. Fortunately, Lee and his wife somehow pulled themselves out from the vehicle with minimal injuries, where he immediately ran towards Marty to check his condition. However, he soon realized the gravity of the situation, where he later said in his statement that Marty seemed unresponsive and was barely hanging on to life. He immediately held his neck to ease out the breathing, as he knew the medical help would take a long time to reach there. Meanwhile, his wife, Tammy, did some makeshift aid to stabilize Nancy's condition. For the heart-wrenching 1 hour, they both kept trying their best to save their life. But tragically, Marty's condition only worsened. And just a few minutes later, when early responders were about to reach their location, he succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead at the age of 63. We spent at least an hour trying to save their lives before first responders arrived. Marty took his last breath while I was holding his head, keeping his airway clear. Lee said in his initial statement. Nancy, who seemed to be still alive, was quickly airlifted to the nearby Palo Verde Hospital in California, where she immediately underwent surgery to stop the internal bleeding. However, even after the treatment, she never recovered from her injuries and was pronounced dead just a few hours later. The primary cause of death for Marty was revealed to be blunt force trauma in the head and neck injury. The investigation that followed after the incident revealed some shocking factors which led to this outcome. According to the initial reports, their buggy was traveling at a speed ranging between 30 to 60 miles per hour. Plus, the weather conditions during that day were normal, with moderate visibility and wind speed between 5 to 10 miles an hour, which ruled out the possibility of weather affecting Marty's judgment. The testimonies from Lee and his wife further revealed that Marty was indeed not wearing the seatbelt while driving, whereas Nancy was only wearing her lap belt. So it was no surprise when the buggy started rolling, Marty was immediately thrown from his seat. And since his buggy was an open frame model, the authorities suspected that Marty might have impacted the frame while being ejected. Plus, it is not uncommon for a dune buggy to roll over if you take the steep angle and vehicle's center of gravity into account. On the other hand, their friends who were reportedly wearing seatbelts during the incident managed to make it out alive with little to none injuries. The experts believe that the incident happened because of the sudden shift in sand, or misjudged turn, which made it difficult for Marty to control the vehicle. According to the toxicology reports, no traces of alcohol or any substances were found in them. Plus, the Imperial County Sheriff's Office and authorities who investigated the whole incident revealed that no foul play or mechanical error was involved, which further led to a conclusion that it was the case of driver's error. That being said, many people still disagree with this conclusion. Looking at Marty's background, having raced for years, one would say he had tons of experience navigating through the sandy terrain. Plus, according to some reports, it wasn't his first time driving the dune buggy, which further highlighted the risks of this sport. In the end, one would say, Marty's passing was just a cruel twist of fate. When the news of his death was made public, it sent shockwaves through the motocross community. And since it had happened during the pandemic, the family decided to do a private funeral, which was attended by his close friends and family members. Soon, many heartfelt tributes poured in from all over the world, including the motocross community and AMA officials. Marty was a great racer and a true Honda legend, Honda Powersports said in their official post, who were his sponsors during his early success. Interestingly, just a few months later in July 2020, MX Sports Pro Racing renamed its annual 250 class Rookie of the Year award to Marty Smith Rookie of the Year award in his honor. Marty Smith was the original Rookie of the Year. We are privileged to ensure that his legacy carries on to the future generations, said President of MX Sports, Davey Coombs, while remembering Marty. Marty Smith was nothing short of a legend in the world of motocross, and although his life was cut too soon, his determination and hard work lived on in the hearts of all those racers whom he inspired. In recent years, many stories from fellow racers surfaced on the internet, telling everyone about how Marty influenced their lives. One would say he was a true definition of a successful racer and legend. And like we always say, legends never die. They ride on. So, if you enjoyed this story about Marty Smith's journey and want to see more like it, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated. Also, don't forget to drop your stories of Marty in the comments section. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next video.